Hello everyone, this is 60 Grit. I actually wanted to do a review on a laptop. I know I sometimes go outside what I normally do, but technology is technology. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do an open box on an Asus. And the reason why I wanna do that is I just wanna talk about some differences when you start looking at laptops. I know there's a lot of people that use MacBooks. Heck, I've been using MacBooks for the last 10 years. And they're great machines. They're made well. They're awesome. The reason why I'm actually switching to a Windows, which will pain me a little bit, but it has to get back down to technology and everything along those lines. So in this book, let's see if we can get this. There we go. So it's a cool box actually, like it's kind of hard to see, but in here you can get the laptop. Power cable. Then there's gonna be an old big block, and if you use any Macs, you don't have any kind of big blocks like this anymore. I believe that's all that's actually gonna be in here. Like I said, sorry, can't zoom out as much. The setup is more good. But yeah, so here it is. And the reason why I want to do this on Asus is, when you start looking at a MacBook, MacBooks are crazy expensive. And for what you're getting out of it is one of those things where, you really gain what you're paying. I mean, this thing right here came with a 1 terabyte drive. Came with a 1 terabyte drive, and it also, there we go. Comes with a 1 terabyte drive, has a 16-inch screen, has an i9 in it, which is very powerful. In fact, it's gonna be more powerful than a lot of the Apple chips. But here's the thing about it is when you start buying a MacBook, if you want to start getting their high end, which is gonna be their Max 3 if you're going with the Pro, but when you start going to 64 gigs of memory, I mean, I think that's $800. Like, they want $800 for 64 gigs of memory. And then if you go with the 4 terabyte drive, that's another $1,200. So between 4 terabytes and 64 gigs of memory, that's $800 plus 12 is $2,000. You know how much this laptop was? This laptop was on sale, and I got it for $1,500. I bought a 64 gig DDR5 memory, which is the top of the line memory today for laptops. I got that for $180, and I bought a 4 terabyte PCI Gen 4 SSD for that was $190. So this whole laptop, all in, is less than $2,000. If you start configuring something like this on a MacBook, I don't even know. I mean, I should have done this before, but I mean, I'm sure the price is going to be around $8,000 is what you're going to pay. So if you start maxing out the cores, the GPUs, this has an NVIDIA GPU in there, you're going to be probably about $8,000 for this type of configuration. And that's just crazy. And see, the Asus is pretty easy. Like, you got a screw here, you got a screw here, you got some screws right here, these 2 screws, and then right here you got 3. They're like little, actually there's 4, actually there's 5, sorry. Right here you got these lower pieces. You just take the screws off, this thing pops right off. You can actually it came with 1 terabyte SSD. I'm actually replacing the 1 terabyte with the 4 terabyte, and this laptop actually has another M.2 where I can slide in another 4 terabyte. I can put 8 terabytes of storage in here. 64, it maxes at 64 gigs of RAM. All in, I'm maybe looking at probably $2,100 for an 8 terabyte solution. So about $2,100. I would have 64 gigs of RAM. 2 4 terabytes. You can run those in array 0 if you wanted to, or you just leave it separate as separate storage. I'm gonna leave it as separate storage. Don't want array 0. At the end of the day, for what I'm doing, the SSD is already fast enough. You know, if you go with the T500, it's a tad more cost. You're getting 7,000 transfer speeds. The one I end up going with is a P3. It has 5,000. It's like about 5,000 transfer speed. So you start looking at like, that's plenty fast what I'm doing. And yes, this is more of a gamer's laptop. I get that. But the point of why I move to Windows is, look, I'm gonna have 8 terabytes of storage, 64 gigs of RAM, i9, which is the highest, one of the highest end products you can put in a laptop. A beautiful screen on this thing. And you know, if you bought just the 8 terabyte SSD from Apple, you know how much that bad boy is? $2,400. So if you bought if you did 8 terabytes for $2,400, and then you did 64 gigs, which is another 8, that's $3,200 in those two things. I mean, that's crazy. And to do that, then you have to get their chip, right? So you got to max out the chip to the max. You got to get the 8 terabytes. And actually, I guess I just did quick. It's about $6,400. So for $2,100, I got very similar specs to a MacBook, or I pay $6,400 for the MacBook. And yes, Mac OS is more efficient. I will not deny that. I've used Mac forever. You know, the spinning wheel of death of Windows, I get it too. But I'm sorry, if I can get everything performance-wise for $2,100 versus $6,400, that's 66% less. That's only 33% of the cost when you start looking at it that way. And I have a solid laptop. That's gonna work great. If you do anything Microsoft-wise, you're an Excel person, you're anything along those lines, you need to be on Windows, because Macs, when you open up stuff in Excel, it can change formulas, it can cause you issues. But anyway, so I wanted something that was a little bit more customizable, still a nice black screen, keyboard lights up on it. So yeah, I mean, so that's why I just want to do the review, because I'm actually leaving Apple, and I'm leaving Apple for a couple reasons. I've had a lot of issues with Apple syncing up phones. I have about 10,000 phones on my, or 10,000 pictures on my phone now, and so yeah, so I just do it. But you know, so I want something where you're changing technology and doing it. And again, like I said, it's a beautiful screen, very comparable to what the, you know, Apple calls their screens. They actually, what they call them, I mean, they're very similar to their laptop screens. What they're doing is not any different. When it gets down to resolution, you're looking at the type of screen, you know, where you're doing FHD, QHD, or OLED. You know, there are now people are trying brand 2K ones in laptops. At the end of the day, like I said, great laptop, third of the price, and I store a lot of stuff, so I need a lot of storage. I do a lot of pictures, a lot of photography, everything along those lines. But yeah, just want to do a quick review, talk about the Asus. Again, I'm not bashing Macs. I know there are going to be people out there like, well, you know, the Mac OS is so much more efficient, it's better. Yes, it is. And when you start comparing memory to memory, Macs will be more efficient when it comes to memory. But let's be honest, 64 gigs on a Windows laptop, 8 terabytes, I'm not going to have issues doing anything. This thing has a GPU card in there. If I want to do game intensive, it's going to be great. The screen's beautiful on this thing. So, you know, check out the Asus M16s. You can go out there and look at all the specs. Those are amazing also. So when you start looking at the screen, so if you're looking at, you know, because really when you start getting into the screen and start looking at it, what really matters is not really about the gaming. It's actually when you start getting into text and other things, when the screen really does start really mattering. And yes, you get a very low end screen, you play games, it's gonna suck. I get that. But there's a lot of laptops that can play games that are lower end. But when you start looking at higher resolution, definition, however you want to say it, it's going to get into the texting and how clear that is. So if you're a coder, you're doing things in text all the time, you're looking at Excel spreadsheets, you're looking at other type of spreadsheets, that's when that higher resolution screen is, and this thing is gonna be beautiful for that. Again, like I said, it's upgradable, very simple to use. Like I said, got a couple screws back here, this piece pops right off, you don't void your warranty, completely upgradable. Why, when you buy a MacBook, if I got 4 terabytes today, now I need 8 tomorrow, guess what, I'm buying a new MacBook. There's no way to upgrade a MacBook. They solder their stuff on the motherboard. Macs just charge a lot, or let's say Apple. Macs charge a lot, Apple charges a lot. You don't get your bang for your buck. What I think is people get stuck in this ecosystem, and then you just don't ever leave because you're in the ecosystem, and you just keep buying in. So you keep pouring more money into a solution. So why would they ever change and do anything when they have a great following? And I'm not, like I said, I'm not dogging on Apple. Used them for over 10 years. Love them, still like them today. But for me, it's about value, and this world's changing so much. We're not looking at value anymore. We just keep pouring money in, and we're wondering why people keep talking about recession and why, you know, people can't afford to live these things. It's because people just keep buying and keep pouring in, and as prices are rising, we don't sit there and alter them. And so your MacBooks, your Apple products will never come down until they're forced to come down. When they start losing market share, that's when they're going to actually have to start changing what they're doing, and prices are going to have to reflect that. Get an iPhone. You can't get the latest. You can never get the latest iPhone on sale. But you know what? You buy a Samsung, you get that latest Samsung on sale. You buy Google Pixels, you can get those on sale. In fact, Google Pixel 8 Pro is $200 off right now. If you're subscribing to their cloud, you get 10% back. So on a phone, you get $200 off. Then another night, you get $300 off of a phone that costs you $1,000. So it's things to look at. And these things, how I'm looking at life these days is, you know, get out of my comfort zone a little bit, save a bunch of money, and, you know, one person at a time will start changing the world. And yes, it takes more than just me. But anyways, if you like the video, please subscribe. If you hate the video, still subscribe. I welcome all. Lovers, haters, whatever. Anyways, have a great day. Thanks.